Sing Talk. This is Sing Talk Radio.
Welcome to Sing Talk Radio. I am your host, Joe Batantz, and I am joined by two, amazing co-hosts.
Ouch.
First, he is a renowned vocal coach, the founder of Vocalize You and the Dave Stroud in the Dave Stroud Vocal Studio. Strong combined with loud equals Stroud. Please say hello to Dave Stroud.
Strong and loud.
Strong and loud. That's you.
Do you know how many people right now are hearing this going, oh yeah?
About four.
Just not adoring or kind, just strong and loud.
Yep.
All right.
Well, I mean,
Great to see you, Joe.
Strong is a very positive attribute, right? And imagine if you're doing vocal stuff, loud is a good thing, right?
Strong and loud.
So
I'll take it.
It's not dark. I think it's a good thing.
Let's add proud. Strong, loud, and proud.
Don't tip my hand on my next joke. Next, she's a hilarious stand-up comedian and successful coach in her own right. She's also proud to be Mrs. Stroud.
Oh.
Am I?
There we go.
Say hi to Shannon Stroud.
Hello.
Hello, Shannon.
Hello, Joe.
How are you? What if we just did the whole show
Just
like
you
this?
and I.
Just
We
me
never
and
introduce
you.
anyone else.
Never introduce anybody else.
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, we should do that sometime.
We should.
Just never bring anybody. We should bring
Group therapy.
We should bring back our old podcast, Wait, Group Therapy. And today we are honored to have a very special guest. Kerry Kimmel is an American singer-songwriter whose songs have been used in more than 150 movies and TV shows, such as The Walking Dead and Pretty Little Liars, which also happen to be my pet names for the Strouds. Welcome.
Hello. Hi.
Kerry to Sing Talk Radio.
Thank you.
Carrie is not 150. She's up to 165.
Actually 650, but that's not a big deal.
All different weights
That's
have been in my life.
Huge.
Different. Yeah.
Wait,
Apparently that's a really old
50
bio.
songs.
650 different movies and TV or 650 different songs?
No, 650 different movies, TV shows, trailers,
Amazing.
promos, commercials.
It's technically
But sometimes the song is used more than once. So
Right.
it's not,
Right.
yeah.
That's amazing.
It's technically not wrong. I said more than 150.
That's true.
That's true.
true.
600
Then you're
yeah.
right. Totally.
We were just about
Covered.
to fire you, but now we'll talk about it in the car right
She's
now.
had more than one
Yeah.
song.
That'll cover it.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, 650. Are you ever watching television and goes, "There's me," you know?
There's my song.
Yeah.
That you
my
forget
song.
about,
Yeah.
you forget out of placement, and all of a sudden there it is.
Yeah.
You go to the movies, and halfway up with the puppet.
Yeah, actually, Christmas time is the most fun because they have like all these movies on reruns and shows and stuff that they're running again. So there'll be some times where I'll be watching something and there'll be like 4 or 5 different channels, and it's like,
All you.
Wow.
I forgot I did that. Oh yay! So
Wow.
it's
Great.
fun.
Are there any though where you're like, that episode of Dr. Ken?
Not really. No, I don't think so. So far, everything. There is one actually. Now that I think about it, there was one song I didn't really love the song, and it wound up getting placed in a show that I'm not going to talk about because I don't want anyone to go look for it. And
What show?
I'm not saying. And it wound up having like a few million views, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Why didn't you like it?
It just I didn't. It was a song that I had done for something else, and it was supposed to be used for one thing in particular, but then it wound up being used for something else this show, and it wound up just getting a lot of views.
Well,
So-
that's 1 out of 650,
But so how does that happen? I mean, is it like your publisher just...
No, I
You're
do it. No,
self-published,
it's totally
right?
my fault.
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
No,
okay.
it's all my fault. But it's, it's just, I knew it would work
should
well for a
fire
show,
you.
and I sent it over the show, and then it wound up working, and then it was just one song that I just didn't really love.
But you thought, I'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
It was Mambo number 5.
I wish.
Everyone feels that way about that song.
Yeah.
Hate it. Love it.
Yeah, but didn't Lou go to music stuff? But didn't Lou Bega do it kind of smart? Because he was a music guy, right? And he kept the rights. I think he made all the money on that song. I think he cashed in.
I don't know who owns the publishing on that.
I think he did. I think he retained it.
I hate that song until you're at a wedding and you're half drunk and it's like, this is a pretty fun song.
Yeah.
And then you wake up the next day and go, damn, I hate that song.
Did we dance to Mambo number 5 last night?
And the motions.
Yeah, on the table.
Yeah.
Usually when I'm drunk, I'm wondering what happened to Mambo's number 1 through 4. Those didn't make the cut.
They didn't.
Yeah, they were like, Mambo number 5, that's the take.
Yeah.
That's the one we're going to do.
And all the others are like, God,
not
writing
good.
on the back of 1 through 4.
And by the way, if you're Monica, you're so bummed. Like, you're finding out about all these other chicks they had on the side. Mm-hmm. Sorry, we've spent way too much time on Mambo number 5. I think we should talk about your amazing career.
Yeah, okay.
So, how did you start out, Kerry? Tell us a story. You're from Florida.
Yes, I'm from Florida, and I was in a band in high school, and I started writing music, and then I just, from there, those songs were terrible, but, you got to go through that. And so, and then I just, I had a record deal with Atlantic, and then I had a publishing deal with Chrysalis, and then another record deal with Virgin, and then, the new president, the president got fired of Virgin. New president came in. It's like the story, everybody seems to have.
New Virgin.
Yeah. And then I just went out on my own and I started writing even more and just doing music that I loved and trying to start, getting placements and different TV shows and different films. And one relationship led to another, to another, to another. And I just met some incredible people who actually, many of them are my friends now that I work with. So it's really awesome. And now I do a lot of it and I get to just create music all day and pitch for shows and films. And, I'm doing this as an artist. So it's, me. I have to obviously love what I'm doing. And so, I just wind up pitching what will hopefully fit for specific shows.
When you were in Florida, can I imagine, were you coming, you're a little younger, I think, but were you coming around the same time as like those big Florida boy bands? Like, are you friends with O-Town and
O-Town?
98 Degrees?
Oh, I remember 98 Degrees. I don't know what O-Town is.
Well, all those came out of Orlando.
Yeah.
And I'm
O-Town.
not...
O-Town.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
I thought it was
Okay.
Oakland.
Oh, Oakland.
That's
I'm
Oaktown.
from South Florida. I'm from Boca Raton. So,
yeah.
So she's not really from
Yeah.
I am from like the,
the Austin.
The bougie.
transplanted New Yorkers
Yeah.
part of Florida.
The further north you go, the further south you go in Florida.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
look at that.
very true.
Interesting.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Interesting. So you didn't hang out. Well, you've written stuff for the Backstreet Boys. That you've some of your songs, but you weren't really involved in that whole scene.
No.
She was a Backstreet girl.
Yeah.
There's just one of them.
Yeah.
Who
One
wasn't?
extra girl.
At that time. So, well, that's very interesting. So what would you say was your huge break? What would you say was the one where yes, we started your career, but what would you think was the moment, the opportunity that came for you?
So, it was a lot of little things or big things depending on how you look at it. But for me, one of the defining moments was I don't even think I lived here yet. No, I was staying with a friend and I was trying to figure out if I could make it in LA, and I'd started working with this guy who was a manager and he had introduced me to at the time, the head of music of Miramax. This guy, Randy. And so Randy had me come in and sing. He was working on a movie called Ella Enchanted, and he had me sing a cover of Respect, the Aretha Franklin. So I sang that, and he loved it, and he was super into it. And then I got a call a couple days later saying that Kelly Clarkson wanted to sing Respect, so they were going to have me sing the title track instead. And I was like, I didn't really know what that meant at the time, but it was a good thing. And then we wound up shooting a music video, and I was hosting the Red Carpet Awards, and I was doing all kinds of things for the film, and that opened so many doors to just meeting other people, and certain people like Randy have become just key people in my life who I just, really owe a lot to. And so I'm very good friends with him, and he's introduced me to other people who I'm great friends with and I work with. And so now he's actually the president of music at Paramount, and I've worked on a ton of Paramount films. And I would say that that's probably the key moment that I can remember.
So when okay, and this opened up some things for me, because you're in Florida, you're doing okay in Florida, pretty well in Florida. Mm-hmm. And then you decide it's time to move to LA. Was that sort of like a culture shock where you're like, I think that happens to a lot of people where they're like sort of the big fish in the small pond, and then they come here and they're like, oh, everybody's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Well, actually, my mom tells the story that she was terrified to leave me in LA because I had a friend and I was sleeping on the other half of her queen waterbed. She had cleared out one drawer and like a little bit of her closet, and my mom basically dropped me off with a suitcase of shoes, my laptop, and I think that was it. And my mom was like, I was so terrified to leave you in this like big city with nothing. I like had nothing.
The waterbed is the scariest part.
Yeah.
Like sharing a bed is one thing, but
right.
like,
It was a waterbed. So,
Sharing a
I would be
waterbed.
out till like 2, 3 in the morning doing like,
and then you're trying to get it, it's like
and I was near the window. So I had to like climb over her and the bed's like,
you can't not disturb someone.
Yeah.
Waterbed. Let's talk about that for a
Yeah,
while.
well, I was gonna.
What was that phenomenon?
I had a waterbed.
What's the advantage of a waterbed?
I don't know. I get seasick easily, so it was not good for me.
Plus,
Yeah.
it doesn't have any support. Like,
Right.
my back would be so sore.
Yeah.
I don't get
slept
it.
on it for years in high school and college.
But what is it like? You're like, oh, this is like, I've always wanted to sleep on
when
water.
you were that little, well, when I was little growing up, I thought it was like a cool
Adult
thing.
thing. I got a waterbed.
I'm like, I had one of those beds where you put the quarter in and it vibrates. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
nailing it. No, I'm kidding.
And it was
I
shaped
was
like
7.
a heart.
I was 7, and it rotated in the
Yeah.
house. My parents were like, whatever. to
It's
each his
fine, whatever.
own. Whatever you're into.
Your daughter has a waterbed that vibrates in circles, goes in circles. She's 7. It's fine.
Yeah.
Never mind.
She's,
Shannon decorated her bedroom based on the movie Foul Play. Remember that scene with Dudley Moore? God, this is such an obscure reference. Sorry, go ahead. And so I never understood like, but like, okay, so you're saying this, it was cool, you were a kid, waterbed.
I
But
think
like,
it was
if,
passed
but if you
down.
watch like Three's Company or any of those shows in the '70s, there's some sort of like unspoken subtext that there's something sexual having to do with a waterbed, and I
Yeah.
still don't know. I've never had sex, but I'm wanting to know why.
about it.
Yeah, I want to know why there is
I
that
think it's
connotation.
like water and movement, and I don't know.
All right, back to Kerry.
I don't know.
I have a question,
How does
though.
waterbed thing spark
No, we're
the
not done with the waterbed.
whole,
So-
Yeah, Dave was the one like, let's stop and talk about the waterbed. Then we talk about it. It's like, ugh, Carrie.
God. That was
Go.
30 seconds
Yeah.
too long about the waterbed.
I'm ADD. Let's
Yeah.
get back to moving on.
Okay.
Let's get back to changing topics.
Yeah. So, you didn't come here going, I want to write for film and television. You came here wanting to be a star.
Yes and no. I always loved being an artist, and I still do, and that's still what I do, but I never really had like the huge desire to be, Whitney Houston or, whatever.
Well, she's dead, so.
Well, that's true. So, but back up a few years. But I love
drug addiction?
singing, and not that part of it. But, I never felt like I needed to go on a tour or any of
Really?
that. I just wanted to create music. So what I do now could not be more perfect for my personality and what I love to do, because I get to do everything I want to do, but I don't have to go anywhere. And I get to, write.
The agoraphobic
I
artist.
get to just kind of sit in my studio, and I have 2 kids now, and I get to be with them, and I get to still create, and I still get to write, and I still get to perform when I want to. And it's kind of like the perfect life for me, because
So when it shifted, you never felt like you were giving something up. It shifted and
No.
you went, holy crap, that's right.
Yeah, I think when I first lost my record deal, I was bummed, and I was like,
Where'd you put it?
into my house,
Oh.
actually. Yeah, I decided I was not gonna, I wasn't gonna do music anymore, and I was gonna remodel my house, and I was just gonna be like, this little, I don't know, hermit, and this is what I'm gonna do, and that lasted like a couple months, and then I was
And
like,
who
I
was
have
the
to
deal with
write.
first?
Well, my first deal was with Atlantic,
Oh, right,
and
okay.
I left that deal, and that's a whole nother
Let's hear about it.
story.
No, I want to know why.
Well, it's not that dramatic. It's just that I signed a development deal with them in the very beginning. And then about a year and a half later, I felt like, even though it had turned into a record deal a few months after I signed the development deal, I still felt like we were still like developing, and the style of what we were doing, I was working with so many amazing producers, but they were everything from R&B to hip hop to total rock. Like, it was all over the place. And every time a new song would come in, the president of the company was like, this is the new single. Like, this is the direction. But then another song would come in.
Who was the president back then?
Craig Kellman.
Okay.
And so he's still there. And he's great. It wasn't my time. It just, I had way too many genres that I loved, and they couldn't figure out what to do with me. So I remember Craig saying, like, we love everything about you, but we can't figure out where to place you. And that wound up working to my advantage later on, because now I get to do every type of music I want to do, and there's nobody saying you have to be one thing. So after about a year and a half, I had asked my lawyer if I could get out of my deal. And he said, yeah, are you sure? And so, yeah. So I got out.
When you get out of the deal, what sort of legal repercussions are there?
They keep all the masters, and
that's it?
That was it for me, yeah. Okay. Every deal's different, I guess. But the way that my deal was structured, I could basically leave if they let me out, which they did. And so everybody thought I was crazy, and I kept hearing from so many people, do you know how hard it is to get a record deal, and you're just giving this one up? And I was like, yeah, but I feel like this is what I need to do. And then I signed a publishing deal with Chrysalis, and really you're supposed to do it the other way around, because I did the publishing deal when I didn't have the record deal anymore. But that was fine. And and that's around the time that I moved to LA. When I signed my deal. Yeah, it was before I signed my deal. So when my mom dropped me off with my suitcase of shoes, I had no money. I had nothing. I had no deal. And I shortly, a few months later, signed the deal with Chrysalis. Which was great, because then I could get a place of my own and get out of her waterbed.
You got food.
Yeah. So, and then a few months after I signed my publishing deal, I then signed a deal with Virgin. And that was really wonderful. But of course, that went in a different direction, because the president of the company was producing my album. And then
who was that?
It was Matt Sarletic.
Oh.
And then he got laid off, and everything he was working on got dropped. And I was the last thing to get dropped. And that one was hard to take, because I was like, oh, okay, well, now what do I do? But, I kind of sulked for like a month or two. And then I got back up and decided I'm going to use this as a good thing. I'm going to keep writing. I'm going to record as many songs as I want, and the style that I want to do. I'm going to find people to work with. And I wound up
Did you drop the publishing deal about the same time too?
That was late. That was a little bit later.
Because that would have affected what you're doing now.
It completely 100% affected it. And so I asked out of my publishing deal a while later, after I had already started trying to secure placements in film and TV. And because I was tied to Chrysalis, it was very hard to get any sort of placements. Mm-hmm. So Chrysalis, because that's, the way that they were, the way that they worked and the way that they were set up, it wasn't enough money to make sense for them, but it was enough money for me, what I was bringing in from, or what I was being offered for different placements. So whether it was $500 or $5,000, it really was never enough for Chrysalis, it seemed. And so all these placements that I was trying to secure were getting denied, basically. Yeah. So after a while, I realized it doesn't make sense for me to have a publishing deal, and this is not enough money to matter to them, but it's enough money to matter to me. And so I asked out. They were very great and wonderful, and they let me out.
And they're gone now, though, right?
Well, I think they're like rolled into BMG now.
Is that what happened? Their office used to be on Melrose.
Right. It's not there anymore.
Yeah, it's gone.
Because it was there when I was signed to them.
Yeah.
And so I quickly realized I needed to be on my own, and I went to the president of the company and I asked him, and he was wonderful, and he said, well, okay, I guess so.
Do you still owe them for anything in the past?
Well, I'm recouped, but they still keep all of the songs that were on my Schedule A until I'm like, 80 or something. Like, I don't even know when it is. It's so far from now.
It doesn't matter, though. It's specific to those songs. And
yes, right. And so I just at that point, when I got out of my deal, I was like, okay, I'm going to write, record, and own everything I do. I'm going to write everything myself. If I do have a co-writer, I'm going to make sure that they're not in a publishing deal. And I'm going to own all the masters, and I'm going to license everything myself. So is that kind of the key to what you do, is that anybody you co-write can't have a publisher? Unless we're writing for like a specific song, like a specific project, like for an artist, or their publishing company is pitching it for something. But typically, I rarely ever write with someone with a publishing deal, just because of what I do, and because I know that it's going to be very difficult for me to place it with a major publisher attached.
Right. Kerry lives the perfect life, though. I'm telling you.
know.
Like, all of this stuff you're talking about is led up to you living
total
the
freedom.
perfect life. Explain
I mean-
explain your world. I mean, this is really interesting because, you know, all of these failures led up, if you want to call them that, led up to you having this.
Where are the failures? It sounds
Yeah.
like one
Well, I'm
causes-
saying anybody who
having
gets
leaving.
a record deal or a publishing deal and that drops feels like they're a failure.
Definitely.
I mean, it is the cool kids kicking you out. That's what it is.
You're just breaking this to her now. She's like, what?
Well, it's not. It just feels that way.
was
It only
that
feels
left.
that way, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah, no, all of those things, excuse me, all those things actually led up, like you're saying, to where I am now. And I'm very thankful for every single step that I took and everything that happened in my life. Now that I can look back, I can say, oh, wow, like that actually had a purpose,
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're going through it, it
feels like shit.
It totally does. I was like, nobody likes me anymore.
Yeah, well,
They're
that's
all
what I'm
dropping
saying.
me.
Yeah, and everybody's in town knows about me, and I'm dropped, and I'm
Yeah.
tarnished, and
Absolutely.
it's not real. It just feels that way.
It is. It's really hard because I had my record deal drop. Record label dropped me, and then my manager at the time, who I absolutely adored and still do. He's so wonderful. This guy Larry Mazer, love him. But he was like, well,
What's
it
to
doesn't
manage?
make sense
Yeah.
for me to manage you because there's nothing to manage.
to manage.
Yeah, and so that was really hard too because I was like, oh my gosh, okay, so now I don't have him and I don't have my record deal. I'm like, it was.
But you have a waterbed,
But
so-
I had Oh no, I was off the waterbed at that
Oh,
point.
man.
I know.
He had half
You
the
had
water
nothing.
I
bed.
know, and I only had half.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, my typical day now is pretty amazing. I like I said, I have 2 kids. I have a 7-year-old and a 1-year-old, and my studio is in the house. I have an ocean view, which is like sometimes it really makes it hard to work because I just like want to go
Stare
play.
at them.
But it's wonderful. I get up, I create, I pitch music, I do all different types of projects, work on all different types of projects, and I don't really have to go anywhere. And then
I mean, you basically get an email that says we're looking for this sound for this particular thing, and you just have to knock it out.
But yeah, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
To interrupt, but I was just thinking, as an artist, that must be so fun to work sort of with, like, you have some parameters. Like, it's not just like write a song, but it's like,
Yeah.
here's this thing, and then you can kind of get a visual.
And you have 12 hours to get it back to us.
Yeah, for example, the last week or so, I've been working on a lot of different projects. I just finished a trailer for an Amazon thriller. So the trailer is like super haunting and creepy and dramatic. And then at the same time, I was also working on a song for a kids show that's coming out on Netflix in about a month or so. And it's a DreamWorks show, and it's a very fun, energetic, kind of more organic type of a song. And then I was also working on a Sims song, for the show, or for the video game. Thank you. The video game, The Sims, and that's more of like a dancey kind of like EDM type of a song. And of course, that's super fun because it's in Simlish, which is total nonsense.
Oh, neat.
Speak to us in
really
Simlish.
fun. I can't. They have to translate. They
sing
actually
something.
translate. Gosh.
It's a literal
I gotta
language.
remember. So they'll take so I've done a few songs for them now, and so they'll take the lyrics and then they'll translate them, and they have their own like way of translating it. So it kind of sounds like the real lyrics, but it doesn't. It's different. They like
The phonetics are similar, but
yes.
no real meaning.
yeah.
Is
we
there a
can
way?
play one.
Yeah, can we play one? I want to hear this kind of.
Yeah, there's one on here.
Kind of.
It might take
I'll tell
me
you
a
how long I
minute
want to listen to it.
Do you want me to look it up?
Yeah, let's find it.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys talk amongst yourselves because I can't do 2 things at once.
Back to the
The
waterbed.
waterbed. So I feel like ergonomically, it's not really effective.
Well, no, going back to the sex part of it, too,
Oh.
is I imagine getting in crazy positions, it makes it more difficult. Because sometimes you need the stability of the mattress to, like, maybe get on, like, a reverse cowgirl.
Oh,
But do you want me to? Okay, you ready? Okay, so this is one of the songs I did for The Sims.
Yaziki hu bufadora bilobi. Yaziki haba buksa
cannot believe you're using that word. PG-13.
The song is actually about a waterbed.
See, this is the sloshing representation right here.
I can't even remember the real lyrics.
So did you?
This is a real lyric.
So you sing it and it translates it.
Well, I have to re-sing it.
So they take the lyrics, put it through, and
They translate it, and they send it back to me, and then
then you just sing the phonetics.
and it takes a long time. So I'm like, wait.
Yeah, what is this?
Well, yeah, it sounds like you know what you're singing about.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. You can dance to it. You don't know what it means.
It sounds like a song I wouldn't pay attention to at like Fantastic Sam's, where I'm like, oh, really? You have 3 kids? You know, like the woman trying to... I never like to talk to people at the... See, like, you know, I never like to talk to people at the haircut place.
Yeah, I hate that too.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
That's why I never get my haircut. I'm serious. I put it off because I'm like, oh, I don't have any good stories. And,
Yeah, I always feel under pressure. And then every time I finally become friends with a hairstylist...
you got to leave them.
Well, no, they just leave. They're like, oh, I died.
They leave you.
Yeah.
I died.
I don't want to be your hairstylist.
Here's a card.
I can't schedule you until I died. I'm like, oh.
You know I'm dead.
Yeah. So anyway, so let me ask you this question, because you're clearly, I mean, we know this. I mean, it sounds like what you talk about mostly is being a songwriter. And I think you see yourself as a songwriter first and a vocalist second, or?
You know, I see myself as both because
And a producer. You're producing all that, right?
I co-produce a lot of it. Yeah. I work with some fantastic, amazing producers who they should take most of the credit, you know. But
By the way, she doesn't leave the house, so they all have to come to her house.
Well, that's the great thing about, like, you know, the internet. I actually, you know, most of the guys that I work with, like one of the guys I work with is in New York. I've met him one time, and when we met, we basically drank scotch. We didn't even work. We just hung out, you know. And and then the other guy that I work with, he is in Silver Lake, and
Oh, so
That's
far.
almost
I
as
know,
far.
Yeah.
so far it is. But, you know, so I barely ever even
See these guys.
see these guys.
Yep.
I mean, I haven't seen Joe, who's my guitar player, since my last show, which was a few months ago, and he and I worked together on a ton of stuff. So we just, you know, it's a lot. But I have typically have a somewhat clear vision in my head of what I hear when I'm writing. So like I hear things in my head, and then it's up to me to kind of like explain what I'm hearing in words that make sense, which is hard. And then sometimes they take it in a different direction, and sometimes it's amazing, and I'm like, why didn't I think of that? You know, so yeah.
So I guess my question is do you have a process for your songwriting? Can you illuminate us?
Yes. So, you know, I typically write one of two ways. I'm either just in my head and I hear everything in my head, you know, and I'm sitting in the car or sitting somewhere where I'm not at any sort of instrument. Or sometimes I will be sitting at the piano and I'll just start writing there. And then depending on what I'm writing, I'm either writing something that I just was so inspired. Like last night, I started writing this song and I'm really excited to get this done. And it's very much in the vein of like Singer-songwriter, and it's very like big and just, it's, you know, I hear it in my head. It's not beautiful yet. I'm hoping it'll be beautiful when it's done. But, you know, so with something like that, I typically write really quickly when I'm inspired. And so then I'll just write it so last night, like I wrote it on keys, and then I put it down in Pro Tools, got my click track, got my keys, got my vocal, the whole thing. And then what I'll do is I'll send it to one of my guys and I'll say, okay, so this is what I'm hearing, and this is kind of like, you know, the structure, and this is the basics of like instrumentation is where I'm hearing this come in, blah, 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 all that. So, but if I'm writing for a specific project, like a theme song, that's like a totally different process. And I have to read through the brief, and if they've given me like a, you know, like a scene description or whatever, and then I write very specifically for
around that.
Okay, you know what? This leads to a very good question. No, this leads to a good question. Because I always feel with theme songs, they start with the title in the tune. Because it's always like, there's like Star Wars. You know, why does that work? And everything's like a lot of titles work. Like Entertainment Tonight. You know, like, why can't you sing Entertainment Tonight to entertain? Like, So do you do that with the theme songs when they're like,
No.
like with the
That's
Fosters?
how you and I would write
That's
a
how I would totally write. Like you're like, write a theme song for the Goldbergs.
You're just jotting down what the guy asked, and then you just turn it into a song. So I'd like to be a song about this guy.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm done.
It's like the theme of the Gary Shandling show.
That's why you and I never made it in the music
well,
business.
not yet. Cross our fingers. Maybe Carrie will help
Maybe
us.
now.
We're hoping.
Here's what we do: we say we're the writers, and then we hire Carrie to write the song.
That sounds like lying.
As long as we
I
don't
like
tell
it.
anybody.
Oh yeah,
It's
no,
alternate
mum's
facts.
the
It's
word.
fine.
Alternate
It's
facts.
so fine.
Yeah. So okay. So that's your process. So like, do you ever just write songs on the fly?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you can just write a song on the fly.
Oh, why?
Like,
Are we? Is this leading
This
into
sounds
something
like a
else?
lead-in.
This seems
like
like I'm
let's
getting
say,
trapped.
Let's say we had a guitar.
let's say somebody like an Australian guy had a guitar.
Like he just walked in here.
Do you think maybe you guys could like do a little?
Well, you got to give her the framework.
Right? Are you going to give me a brief?
Get the setting, the setting for this, like the brief.
Should we do something from real life, or should we do?
Yeah,
like,
do a real life. Chris and Shannon's past life in a.
Chris?
I mean,
Whoa, Freudian slip. Wow.
Chris?
Yeah, exactly. Chris, your friend. I can't say his last name though.
Chris Gady.
Yeah, Chris Gady.
I was thinking, some situation you two have been in. No,
Or my
perfect.
name was Chris.
No. I think the Chris thing popped in my head because of the script you guys wrote. So let's take one of the scenes from the script you guys wrote.
Oh, because
And
it's
have-
never going to be seen by anyone.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Well, okay. One time, Shannon and I got in a huge fight
Oh yeah.
about which way an old lady would turn
At Mumadahiko.
at Mumadahiko
Elementary
preschool.
school.
Yeah.
She would turn left or
I
right.
think we get more general.
That was about a preschool.
Okay, so here,
How about
in
this?
this situation, no, actually, it's a perfect situation because in this situation, I wouldn't write about what's going on between you two. I would write like a hook that says like, "Who's right? Am I right?" Like, so like, which one of you?
we want it. We
You
still
know.
do want to know.
We
this,
get in a
right?
fight right
Okay,
now.
hold on a sec. Carrie, explain what a brief looks like when you get one.
Yeah. So
It doesn't look like that.
Yeah, no, not too much like that.
Oh.
Usually they'll give me like a synopsis of the show, and they'll sometimes have some keywords, and they'll usually have some sort of a direction production-wise. So either they'll have some song examples, like they'll give 4 or 5 different YouTube clips of like, okay, we're going for this, and it's usually pretty obvious if they're wanting a more organic thing, a more electronica or something stripped down. So they'll give some direction, and then you just go with it.
Okay.
And-
So Mumadahiko preschool. It's a real hippie.
This is a difficult challenge. Do you have anything
Because
from your...
Mumadahiko's so hard to rhyme
Take a step back, so it's not a particular scene, but it's the overall feeling of the show.
Oh, I got it.
okay.
How about this? I know what it is. I got
you
it.
argue
What
all
about how about the thing that we worked on this project? We put our blood, sweat, and tears into this, and anger.
Yeah.
And
almost
then-
lost a friendship.
Almost lost we did actually lose a friendship, but not between each other.
Oh yeah.
We just don't talk to Ashley anymore. Anyway, we axed her out. But
What'd you axe her?
but then something, you work on something and then it just didn't work out.
Right.
Yeah. You're excited, and it's like the best thing
Yeah,
ever.
you're so excited in the beginning.
So maybe
And then you move back in with your parents.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the hook would be giving it your all
Yeah.
because you're giving it everything that you have. So
That's right.
But our best just wasn't good enough.
But your best
Here
wasn't
we
good-
are.
Of course, that would be a really depressing
Yeah.
theme.
Yeah.
The best wasn't good enough.
I gave my all.
But look at us now.
But I'm just my best. Okay, go ahead.
Good enough.
That's a good song. See, look,
That
you
is
can
a
be
great
songwriter.
song.
I'm just kidding.
Just
so
one.
give Darcy some direction on sound you want.
Okay.
Okay, so something up tempo, not too minor, something kind of happy. Is this a comedy?
The event wasn't, but the movie was.
So
How it worked out
I
wasn't
was
funny.
under the impression that we were sort of writing this point, like you put all your effort into this, and it's like tragic sort of like vibe at the end.
Yeah, but if it's a theme song, you don't want it to be too
Yeah, you're just a
sad.
guitar monkey. So
If we had a keyboard, I would
Yeah,
be like,
can I give the
I don't really
proviso
play
that I
much
started learning guitar properly like 6 weeks ago. I'm actually
wait, what?
Come over here.
6 weeks ago.
6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I
You want
thought
me to
I thought
play
this
it?
was Joey Satriani or whatever.
No, on the piano I am. but on the
Okay.
guitar,
see,
I'm
where are the
something else.
pianos when you need it?
I know that's actually
No
in
one
my
ever says, like,
autobiography.
on the harmonica.
Yeah.
If only I had one.
Yeah.
So something.
So something like, up tempo. Yeah, oh, that's good. Yeah, but something a little less sad, maybe like like start with the same first chord.
No D minors.
Right, no minors. Let's try not to go minor yet. Wait, what was this? What were we just saying? We were talking about you're giving it everything.
We gave everything away, but it wasn't
Right.
good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Shall I follow my?
So
we still have
the first
hope.
thing you were doing with that. like,
Yeah, we
you
still
kinda-
have hope. And then, what was the name of the movie? Oh, we never had a movie. Did we?
Gosh, talk about putting me on the spot.
I know.
See, whenever I write, nobody's around. I could just come up with lots of crap before I get anything good.
Yeah. That was actually the title of our movie.
We're gonna give it all. We're gonna give it all. Yeah. We're gonna give it all. And then what was happening? And then it wasn't it wasn't good enough.
Moonmont Ahiko. Yeah, the best wasn't good enough.
Now all I can
No,
hear
no.
is
Just once, yeah.
good enough.
Yeah.
Oh, now that's all I hear in my
So
head.
we're going for the chorus right now. Is that what you want to do?
Okay.
Like, are you going for the hook right now?
So it's kind of like going to give it all, and who knows? There's potential. It's going to be great.
Right.
We're going to go for that.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I like what you're going. So here's what it is.
For that.
We've had our ups and downs, but we're still hoping for the best. It's going to turn
Yeah,
out
yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
We tried to kill each other, and it didn't work.
After meditating.
We're gonna give it all. No matter what, no, we're gonna give it all. And I don't know, I need some like time to
Just
come
do
up
it in
with lyrics.
Sims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna give it all. We're gonna give it all. And I need some time to come up with
No,
some
I think that's pretty
This is
good.
great.
That's
I'm just
about
imag-
4,000%
like a
better.
montage of Joe and I like crumpling up paper
Yeah,
and
just-
throwing it and like we'll never do it.
And then it's raining and I walk outside and I'm at Intelligentsia and you just turn around and you're
and I
standing
see
there.
you across
That's
the
at the
street,
end.
Yeah.
and I'm like, you got the wrong coffee, and then it just ends.
Perfect. We'll have to smooth that out a little bit, and we'll get back to you.
God, if I had an ounce of your talent,
So you get a brief, like in the morning you wake up, there's an email, there's a brief, and you basically turn something around by the end of the day to them.
Well, usually they give you a little more than a day, but sometimes I need to do it in a day. But usually, if it's like a theme or something, they'll give you like at least 5 days.
wow,
Something like that. And then
Can I ask you your opinion on a theme song that came out this year? That Justin Timberlake.
okay.
the trolls.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's okay. Well, it's not technically a theme because it's for a film, so it's like a title track. But that
Okay,
song
title
is freaking amazing. I love that song. I absolutely love that song. And props to Julianne and Julia, who were the music supervisors on that, because they're.
Oh. What did you think, Dave?
I loved it.
I love that song.
I do too.
And my son loves it too. And he's really.
I
good.
loved it the first 100 times I heard it.
Yeah.
And then when you go to the gym and they keep playing it, we do these circuit workouts, and they tend to play this song a couple of times in an hour.
Well, anything would get annoying after that. I can't listen
That's
to
all I'm
anything
saying.
too much. Yeah, that's why I get like really tired of my songs, because when I'm mixing and everything, I listen to it again and again and again and again, and then I'm like, I don't want to hear this anymore ever again. But yeah, so.
No, I like the song.
But it's a good song.
Don't get me wrong. I really liked it. I was just curious as far as a. So it's not a title, or
It's
it is
like
a title
track,
Okay.
basically. It's like the, yeah.
Did you see the movie?
No.
Oh, that's what I want to know is how you felt like it tied.
I didn't see it. I really do,
Okay.
because my daughter's name is Poppy, and there's a Poppy in Trolls.
yeah.
So there's a lot of reasons I need to see it.
You need to
It's a
see
great
it
name.
Yeah.
because I like the song, but that wasn't the question. The question is how well you felt like they did the title track to the movie.
So I don't know, but I'm sure it was great. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, but the song is like so happy and fun, and it makes you just kind of like dance and uplift.
Which is why they keep playing it at the gym when they're.
Yeah.
So the way we do these workouts, it's like 40 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 40 seconds on. So they only play parts of songs. You get 40 seconds of a song and they move on to another for each segment. So, they're running out of good songs. So they play that 40 seconds twice
Over
in
and over.
60-minute workout. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
I can't
why-
listen to it twice.
That's why I don't go to the gym. I don't want to deal with that.
80 seconds.
my reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't. The same 40 seconds.
Ugh, don't get me started.
Yeah.
Started.
Don't even.
So
Yes.
let's dig into the I'm curious about the business side on this.
Sure.
Which would be like the economics of this, and like how does this compare to the record recording artist touring version of you, as opposed to the stay at home, be with your kids?
Right.
I mean, is one...
I don't really know much about the other side of it because I didn't go too far down the road. I mean, I had my record deals and I never did a tour. The album didn't even get finished, so I was kind of like really on the, beginning stages of that. And, but when you say economically, like basically, do you mean like, can you make a living? What do you mean specifically?
Yeah. I mean, how does this, you don't have a publisher in there, so you don't have somebody taking a cut.
Right. It's good. It's really good. Here's the thing. I work on a lot of projects all at the same time, and I do a lot of different things. So I'm not just writing, and I'm not just singing. I'm not just producing or co-producing. I'm doing a lot of different things. So like, for instance, when you're licensing a song, especially like when I license a song, I typically own either all of it or most of it. Like I might have a co-writer, but it's either that or I own it 100%. Okay, so when a song is licensed, there's a master sync fee, which is the first thing to come, and then royalties on the back end, and then if you have it on iTunes, you can make money from downloads. And then I also sing on a lot of things. So I sang on Pitch Perfect 1, Pitch Perfect 2, a lot of Disney shows, a lot of Disney movies like Teen Beach Movie and Descendants, and things like that. And then
so you get paid as an artist as well.
I get paid as a singer so that's SAG. Mm-hmm. And then some of the theme songs I do are also SAG, like the Fosters is SAG, and then the Spirit theme song that's about to come out, that's also SAG. And then I also do live shows sometimes too. Like I sing with, Ringo, and I sing backgrounds with a lot of people like Bruce Springsteen, and who else have I sung? I don't know, a lot of people, John Legend and Alicia Keys and whatever. So then I'll sing with them, and then that's a different kind of like form of income. That actually probably pays me the least. But those are fun.
And it's the hardest.
And that was when I think I lost my voice. I told you that one time. That was because I sang for like 3 weeks straight and like screaming for 3 weeks straight.
Yeah.
That was bad. But it was totally worth it because I got to sing with the Beatles. So
yeah, I was going to say.
I was like, well,
some things,
for the team.
Sometimes money isn't the best compensation.
Exactly. Yeah. And, and then I'll sing like on camera sometimes too. Like I sang on an Al Pacino film where I was singing on stage with him, and then I was singing on the middle, and then like certain shows where I'll sing and I'll, be on camera, and that's also SAG. So there's lots of like different forms of income, and it keeps it really interesting. And I also, on the more practical side of things, SAG is also my health insurance, and I have health insurance for my whole family. So like, I got to keep doing that, and I love it. I love performing. So
on the master sync pay, is that a standard? Like, no matter what film it is, it's kind of a set standard sync fee? No, they're all different. And depending on, sometimes I will do something that's like a work for hire. And if it's a work for hire, then I only no back end.
See, right. Well, I get back end for my writers, but not for my publishing. So if it's like a work for hire, they'll take my publishing and they'll own the master. And so,
there better be a good upfront fee for that then.
Yeah. And so like...
Explain the difference between writer and publishing also.
Yeah. So,
because it's 100% twice.
Right. Yeah. They do make it that way, which makes it a little complicated. But yeah, it's basically like... So in terms of like when you get an upfront fee, they'll typically split it 50-50. So like let's say your upfront fee is $5,000, $2,500 will go to the master side, $2,500 will go to the writing and publishing side, and so those people typically split that side of the fee. So like if there's 2 writers and we both own half the publishing, then we'll split that $2,500, and then whoever owns the master will get that side of it. If that makes any sense.
So because you're producing the master, you own the master, and since you kind of own the project, you end up owning the master.
Yeah, or all situations are different.
Right.
Sometimes I co-own the master with my co-writer. Sometimes I hire some. All situations are different. Yeah.
But is it okay? So the publishing is the master, and the writers are the writers.
The publishing.
Or do I have it opposite?
No, the publishing goes with the writers, and the master stays with the master. So because you can have a.
But
song,
I mean, when they say this, the split is one is writers and one is publishing? Isn't that how it is?
Yeah. So on the sync side of it, it's basically broke up into writer and publisher. But usually the people that are the writers either have a publishing deal and they take their publishing, or the writers on their own publishing and they have that.
See, that's the part that's always confusing to me, because writers are, publishing is writing. And so they split it up into
Sorta.
100%. And I'm like, why can't it just be?
They make it complicated.
They do.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, you can share as much as you feel comfortable with this, but what is a typical sync?
It's like, they vary. They really, really do. Some syncs are gratis. Some, they won't pay you anything. Some syncs, depending on the show, will be $500 to $1,000. A good middle range is around $3,000 to $5,000. I'd probably
Is that
say
the total of 200%?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah. So let's say I get a sync and they'll say it's $5,000 all in. So like I said, then it'll get split up into the
25
sync.
and 25.
Yeah. But then on the other side of it, trailers pay usually a lot more on the upfront, but trailers you don't really see any back end.
Yeah.
So I've seen trailers that I've done in the 20s. And you get a few of those, and that's really great, you know?
Great.
And so, and then commercials are a whole different thing. And I haven't done a ton of commercials, but I've sung a lot of commercials, and those are usually SAG. And then when they're national, well, that's always
There's the
good.
back end on that.
Yeah.
Some good mailbox money.
If someone wanted to, because I don't sing or anything.
You just sang, though, earlier. So, I mean,
That's proof that I don't sing. But it sounds like, we just were talking about your career being so sort of perfect in the sense that you can't not go to the grocery store and be recognized, yet you're like, oh, that's my song that's playing as you're pushing the cart, which is so great.
Yeah.
What would you tell a singer that maybe wants to get into this?
Just be everywhere you can be. So many of the people that I've met have been very random. I've met people, one thing is that I'm in general, a proactive person, and you can't sit there and wait for people to do things for you. You have to do it for yourself, and you have to create the best music you possibly can, because when it comes down to it, you can have all the connections in the world, but if your music sucks, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So you have to have the right music and great music that can compete with, stuff that's on the radio, because, it needs to be that quality of music. And then obviously you can have the most amazing songs, but if you don't know anybody and you don't meet anybody and you can't send it to anybody, then that doesn't matter either. So you have to have a balance of both, really.
So the people and I could be totally off here, the people that score a movie, do they have a selection of your songs in there, or are they actually working with you directly, or totally separate?
Yeah, no. Usually I'm working with the music supervisors, not with the composers, because the composers are doing all the underscore, and they don't typically have much to do with songs that are placed in films or shows.
Gotcha.
So I will work directly with music supervisors and sometimes with the music editors as well. Or with the VPs or presidents of music at different networks.
I mean, that's the reason you're able to do this without a publishing company, is because your ability to network.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know music supervisors and people at the different studios, this isn't going to happen. Right. You have to have a publisher who knows.
So there's
them.
not many people like you.
No, I know of one, and her name is Kerry Kimmel.
Right? I mean, you don't hear of this.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this a while, and I like I said earlier on, I was fortunate to meet people like Randy and people who have become key, networking people for me. They've really introduced me to people that I probably would never have known had I not had some of those experiences. But if I wouldn't have done Ella Enchanted, if I hadn't had, really gotten out there and met people and met this guy who was a manager who then brought me there. So it's like you don't know what's going to bring you to your next place.
But just show up and do the work and just give it a try.
Meet as many people. And I, people talk about paying your dues. I paid my dues. I wasn't oh, I'm too good to do that.
You
I'm
slept
too good
on a
to do
wetter
that.
bed.
Yeah, exactly. But, I did a lot of projects. I sang a lot of demos. I sang for a lot of people that, I felt I don't really want to do this, but I would do it anyway because for me, it might have opened another door. I might have met somebody else. In many instances, I didn't, but in some instances, it did. And
well, I'm sure you learned something from doing the project.
Oh, yeah.
That's just, you've just stacked them up. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I mean, I think you're a unicorn. I mean, that's the truth. Like, this is the reason I wanted to do this with you, is because I don't, when you ask that question, I know one person that's been successful doing this without a publisher and as many, 650 television programs and movies, like who else, even with the publisher, has that?
And
the other problem
amazing performer.
Yeah, and can do all that.
Chance to see her live, but
Yeah.
awesome.
and so if you're with a publisher, the chances of you of someone, let's say, with a publisher being as successful as you is slim, because the publisher has people to draw. They have a pool of people they're drawing from.
Right.
You are you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm focused, and interestingly enough that you say that, I, over the last 2 years, have started working with other bands and other artists because I had the relationships, or have the relationships, and I don't have every type of music that people are looking for.
Right.
So why not,
create your own roster?
Yeah.
Is that what you're
That's basically
cool.
she becomes a publisher.
So I have, I work with, like about maybe close to 200 bands now, and we
Where do you find them? MySpace?
No, actually, they
MySpace.
kind of have found me. A lot of them
sure.
have word of mouth. This guy's working with this guy. Oh, and, you need to get your music to Kerry, whatever. And so, so now in the beginning, I was only working with male-fronted bands because I wanted to keep it separate from what I do and not put competition with myself. And I wanted to be fair to the people that I'm repping also. And so, but now I would say our roster is like 80% male and then 20% female. And the females that we do rep, either I'm just like, oh, they're freaking amazing, and like I want to have, to work with them, or they're really different from me and they're great too.
What's the best find you've had lately?
Gosh, there's a few. There really are a few. There's a couple bands that, let's see, there's a band called Electric People that we've placed quite a bit. They're awesome. A band called Young Girls that we've placed quite a bit. There's a band called Castle Project, who is just freaking great. I love everything he's done. And, those are the ones that kind of stick out to me right now. We have a new hip hop guy that we've been working with. We just got him a couple placements, and his name is DJ Cuts. And so, it's and so they're all male fronted that I just mentioned. And so, yeah, we do work mostly male fronted, but there are some females. There's this girl that I just signed yesterday who is kind of up and coming. I think she's 17, and she's just an incredible singer, and she has one song.
Shannon.
And that one song is freaking amazing. Yeah. So, and when you find those people, it's like, oh my gosh, there's something really special here, and I want to be a part of, making her even better and having people listen, having more people hear her and stuff like that. So
do you have an admin team with you, or are you doing all this yourself?
I do. I have a small team that I work with.
Yeah.
So
that you've built?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all under your tent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
so you
it's
really
a lot
are
of
a
work.
publisher.
I sort of, yeah.
Not sort of. You are a publisher. This is what a publishing
growing.
company does.
Yeah, we're growing. We're very boutique, and it's been quite a transition for me because I'm still doing all the creative stuff that I'm doing. I'm still singing, I'm still writing, I'm still doing all that. So this is something that's kind of added on to that, and so I have a lot more help with that side of it because I just don't have enough time.
Yeah, totally. I can see that. So just superficially list some of the bigger titles.
Like movies?
Yeah,
and stuff?
TV movies.
Let's see. So I had a song in World War Z, the Brad Pitt movie. Did the trailer for The Walking Dead. I do the theme song for The Fosters. I've had songs in Pretty Little Liars and Vampire Diaries and The Office and New Girl and Grimm and gosh, I don't know, like
650.
a lot
honey.
of.
I was curious of the top 10. I don't know.
Yeah, lots of TV, lots of TV, and then some film. I mean, it's mostly TV because there's more TV than there is film.
Yep.
More scenes,
There's
more need
channels.
for music,
Yep.
and yeah, I had a song in a movie called The Duff. That was really fun. Really, if you're like 17 and a girl, like that's
It doesn't work for me, I
jam.
guess.
But, that was a really fun movie, and yeah, gosh, I don't know, a lot. And then like going way back, Shall We Dance, and I sang on Dreamgirls, and like just
How many days have you gone in a row in the same pajamas?
I never stay in pajamas.
Okay, just
Never. But my husband sometimes will not get out of his pajama bottoms. I'm like, excuse me, you need to get changed.
But if you're at home doing all
do
this
you?
stuff.
It's true. He doesn't have to, but I'm kind of like, I mean, I don't know.
Be an adult.
Yeah.
I'm saying that as I'm sitting in my pajamas.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. No, I always, make it a point to. But I also like to go out and get coffee, and I can't go out in my pajamas. I mean, I could.
Have you been in Hollywood lately? I don't think it matters. People with no pants getting coffee.
Yeah. That's true.
Awesome.
Pajama Bottoms was my drag name.
Really? I like that.
Pajama
It should be if it's not.
It was just bottoms.
It was just
confusing.
It was just pajama. That was just the verb.
It's confusing because everybody with the coat was like, well, I thought he was a pajama top, but okay, pajama bottom.
People get often very confused. Very confused.
To each his own.
So where do you find these artists? Just through word of mouth?
Yeah, lots of word of mouth. I will be working with a band, and then they'll say, "Hey, we just did a show with this band, or my friend is in this band, and they're incredible." And and then they'll email me a link, and if it's something that I think I can place, I'm like, "Yeah, let's do something."
Hold on for a second, Darcy. Do you have a link? You got to meet this Darcy character. He's a pretty
just
talented
did.
musician.
He's awesome.
He doesn't play the guitar, but supposedly he's a
Elastic
whiz
Month.
at the piano. I know.
And the triangle.
And the accordion. Quite the polka player.
Nice.
Do you ever have polka TV shows that want to come to you? Darcy can fill it in and
dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
exactly. So what's coming up for Kerry Kimmel? Where can we see you next? Where can we see you perform live? Because according to Shannon,
Last time I saw you was at Room 5. It was like
Oh my
2 years
God.
ago.
over on La Brea.
That was forever ago.
I don't even call Room 5
Did
anymore.
they? No, I
Now
think
it's
they
gone.
shut
I have no
it
idea.
down. Right?
Yeah, they shut the whole
After
restaurant.
Kerry's show, they're like, the mic dropped.
That's
and
it.
Done.
No. I have a show on March 24th at the Hotel Cafe and it's my first time playing the second stage.
Oh, we were just in that. It's really cool,
Yeah.
intimate space.
Yeah, so we're going to do kind of a stripped down, upright
Whoa.
bass, kind of not me, the music.
Pajama bottom.
Pajama bottoms. And
Where's this at? Where's the Hotel Cafe?
it's in Hollywood on
Cahuenga.
Highland and
Cahuenga.
Oh,
Cahuenga, just
Cahuenga.
north
From
of
here.
Velvet
Sunset.
Margarita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that Dave calls it Coinga.
Cahuenga.
Coinga.
Cahuenga.
Yeah.
On
so
Cahuenga.
that's
So that's on Cahuenga and.
Cahuenga and
Just north of Sunset.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's that's on a Friday at 9.
Oh, it's perfect.
9 sharp.
We're all gonna go.
There
We're all
on
there.
time there.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah.
We're doing the wrap up now because this is like right now I start to go like, and then Dave goes.
Dave goes, give me your top 10
Kerry.
favorite
I do have one
moments in
question.
your
Yeah,
life.
exactly.
Okay, there's 4
One
minutes.
question.
Okay.
That's why I have to do the wrap up
Advice,
now.
and Shannon sort of tapped onto this, but advice to the younger Kerry self and anybody that's coming up through here. What's one point?
And your butler.
Wow.
If you were to give
Only
yourself, give yourself advice, that girl that was sleeping on the waterbed.
Don't get discouraged. Just you keep going. It doesn't matter. You're going to hear so many no's, so many people who are like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. I don't know. And just if you really think that you're great, do it. And just, do
I
it
have
to
a friend who
the best
passed
you
on the
can.
weekend because he wasn't feeling it.
Exactly, right? So
Yeah.
not everybody's right. And music is subjective. And, just you can't be discouraged. You can't let no's stop you.
There, I'll hand it back to you. Look at that.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, wait. I have not done the wrap up yet. I think I've actually done the wrap up before, and then he goes.
Yeah. Well, that could still happen.
Yeah, that's
There's
what I'm
still
saying.
time.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Well, that was only with Greg Fillinganes. Do you know Greg?
That sounds familiar.
He was Michael's MD,
Okay.
Michael Jackson's, and
Michael.
you
Jackson.
you must have met him with the Beatles thing. He would have been in that circle. You know Jory?
That might be, yes.
Yeah, Jory's
Yeah.
married to him.
Oh, okay.
So
All right, cool.
we were wrapping up, and I just didn't feel like we were done, and so we went another half hour.
Oh gosh.
And then Dave had to cancel appointments, and
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I have plenty of time. Anyway.
She sang for El Enchanted, and we were, well, enchanted.
Aw.
That concludes another episode of Sing Talk Radio. You can find more about Kerry Kimmel at kerrykimmel.com. That's KARIKIMMEL.com. And find her music on iTunes or wherever you buy music. Can we find your music on iTunes?
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Learn more about Sing Talk and Dave Stroud at sing-talk.com, where you can find all of our old episodes and learn more about Dave's other programs that I don't care about. Special thank you to Kerry Chemical.
I like that. That's going to be my rap name.
Yeah, Kerry Chemical, yeah.
Yo.
Special thanks to Kerry Kimmel for joining us today, and to Darcy Kellis for producing the show, and also a big thank you to the engineers here at the network studios for Dave Stroud, Shannon Stroud, and myself, Joe Batantz.
.com.
One last chance, Dave.
Where can we find you, Joe?
No, goodbye.
Sing Talk. This is Sing Talk Radio.